Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here to help you brainstorm starting zero waste shopping in your own life. Where do you even start? It can seem super overwhelming. And so I'm here to try to walk you through that process from the absolute very beginning so that hopefully you come up with some options that you can execute in your own life that will make it easier for you to go ahead and get started. Because, it's important to just get started, right? There's that old quote, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Every step that we make is a step that is closer to the destination and better. Believe me, I have not gotten nearly as far as I would like to go, but I am a lot further than I was when I first started. And so, yeah, that's just sort of the way it goes. So do it little by little. Don't think you have to be perfect overnight. And then all that being said, how do you get started? Number one would be to do some reconnaissance, do some information gathering in the stores in your area. If you have a zero waste store near you, oh my gosh, hit that thing up and shop there. I mean, that's amazing. I don't have one of those in my area as far as I know. But what you can do is Google zero waste store in, whatever city you're in. And then a lot of times, if you don't have a zero waste store nearby, what you will find are local bulk stores coming up and the results. And so for me, that is basically Whole Foods, Winco, and Sprouts are my local bulk stores. Winco ends up being where I go for a lot of my giant cases of items. I buy huge bags of, 25-pound bags of oatmeal, 50-pound bags of flour, 25-pound bags of beans and rice. I do it mostly at Winco. I can get a few of those things at Costco, but I do like the Winco stuff because a lot of times it comes packaged in paper. But sometimes you get these cases and everything comes packaged in plastic, even like just in the case there's a big plastic wrap around the food. And so, even if you're buying it bulk, there is that little bit of waste on the upstream, but still I think it's far less waste than there would be if you were packaging all of those things individually and then selling them to people to just get thrown away. So it is good to know, though, I think, going in, that there is no such thing as perfection. And then that's not an excuse to stop trying. It's just, a way of being nice to yourself, because I think a lot of the people who do get involved in this lifestyle are kind of perfectionist and possibly even tend to have a little bit of anxiety. And I think that that's just because you're the kind of person who cares about things. I think a lot of people get accused of having anxiety anymore, but it's like, you just care about things, and other people have learned not to care because they don't see it or they're not made aware. So anyway, just know going in that there's no way of being perfect, but you can do the best that you can do, and it's still amazing. We need several people doing this lifestyle imperfectly, like many, 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 many people being imperfect about making steps towards sustainability is more effective than like the fringe tiny group of people who would be able to do it like 100%, live on some compound and grow all their own food and, like, I don't know, never shave or whatever. I don't know, so anyway. So yeah, do it imperfectly, and that's great. So yes, doing your information gathering, but then also doing it, so like, where could you actually go? Farmers markets too are a great place to go for loose produce a lot of times, although anymore I'm noticing more and more farmers at the farmers markets are packaging their veggies, and it's really sad to me, especially packaging them up in plastic. I really don't like that. But anyway, so you have to go and find where you can go. There's a local produce store I also hit called Superstition Ranch Market, which is a discount produce place, which I go to get my produce. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, these are my options, but your options would be different. And this is stuff that I have figured out from all of the time that I have spent looking and going and seeing my options. Doing it also, though, in light of your own personal needs, wants too. Are there any allergies in your household? And do you have a big concern about your budget? So for us, we do have a peanut allergy in our household, and we definitely are concerned about our budget. And so I can't make all of the most perfect choices as a result of that, because I can't always afford the choice that is the best. And then also sometimes I can't choose the best thing because of the peanut allergy and the risk of cross-contamination, especially with a lot of bulk purchases. So it's something that I have to deal with on our level, and so it's something you may have to deal with too. And it's just one of those things where you have to just kind of go back and forth and just make the best choice, the best and safest choice for your own family and for yourself. And then also consider well, being vegan, for one thing, cuts down on so much waste and so much environmental help. I mean, there's so much environmental help just to going vegan, far more than like driving a Prius. But the thing is, I understand that not everybody is vegan. And so as much as it pains me to say, there are options to be zero waste, even if you're not vegan. There's like certain companies where they have the milk in glass bottles, and you can buy the glass bottles and usually put down a deposit. And then when you bring the glass bottle back, you get that much off the next bottle or something. And there's also certain places, I'm pretty sure Whole Foods, and then locally also here AJ's, where you can go to buy meat and it will get packaged up in paper instead of plastic. Like if you buy it at the counter rather than like going to the area where it's already like shrink wrapped in plastic. So you can avoid a bit of waste in that area. I'm pretty sure the same goes for like cheeses you could buy at Whole Foods. You might be able to get them wrapped in plastic, or I mean in paper instead of plastic. I'm not sure. So that's something obviously you would have to research for yourself, because I'm not going to put a lot of effort into researching how to do that. But I'm letting you know that it is an option if you are not vegan to possibly, do things that way. So your needs, your wants, allergies, budgets. I got notes this time to keep myself on track. But also think about your vices, okay? This is the thing I think that a lot of people don't think about. And I am not here saying for even a second that you can't ever have coffee or chocolate or the things that you love again, but thinking about your vices and your bad habits. So for me, that is definitely like getting a coffee out or some kind of drink, or getting food out because I get exhausted and I don't feel like cooking, because it's like hashtag mom life, right? And so, I've had to basically slog through the swamp, uphill both ways, whatever, to try to go to a store and do, and then the diaper exploded in the car, and you know what I mean? Like there's just like a million things that can pile up on you, and by the time you get home, you don't feel like cooking or whatever, especially if you've gone shopping, especially if you're doing zero waste shopping, because it's a little bit more involved. And so consider all of those things, the possibilities. And so for me, I just know that those things are a reality. I don't try to tell myself I'm going to quit ever getting a coffee or whatever. And it used to be you could just take your reusable thing. Now you can't because of COVID. So it's like either you don't get it at all going out, or you end up having, a plastic bottle and a plastic straw to waste or whatever. So I would say kind of make some plans, knowing who you are and knowing that you're not going to quit everything overnight. Make a little bit of allowances for those things. So like I really love chocolate. I can buy certain dairy-free chocolate chips in bulk at Winco, and they're delicious, and it's a nice little treat without having to have all of the packaging of a chocolate bar. And then for coffee, even though I've quit coffee, I also occasionally like to have cold brew, and I just make my own cold brew at home. It's very easy to do. And so knowing that I have that in the fridge, or if I can make it and bring it with me, it makes me much, or actually not much less likely. Like I'm not going to stop and get a coffee if I already have a coffee with me, but then it makes me much less likely to stop and grab something if I know it's already at home. So you just sort of like think about those things. And those are the ways that I would always trip up. It's like I'd go, oh, I just want my coffee, or, oh, I just want to order Chipotle, or, and then also it ends up being a really huge benefit to your budget, if that's a concern. So all of those things said, let's talk about supplies. And now obviously we're talking reusable shopping bags, but also like I have this little thing which goes into my pile of reusable shopping bags. And this is the one that holds all of my reusable produce bags. And then these are my absolute favorite for shopping bulk and for getting my produce. I don't have any really solid things yet, but for the most part, the things that like flour that would need a more solid bag, I'm buying anyway in the big case, and so I'm not thinking about that. But that is something to consider. Some people like to use jars. It's not my favorite. I'm convinced that you pay more when you use a jar. I know it shouldn't be possible, but for instance, this is the jar that I used for a really long time to fill up a tea at my local herb shop. And then one time I forgot it, but I was there. It's kind of far from my house. And I was like, okay, fine. I will take the plastic bag this time. And then I'll just end up reusing that plastic bag. And I have it in my drawer. I can reuse it. But they filled that thing to bursting. And then this jar of tea is like $13. The bag filled to bursting was $7. And when I got home, I stuffed it into this jar, like stuffed it down. And we're talking potentially a $6 difference between having it purchased in the jar on the scale and having it purchased in the plastic bag. And I was kind of really blown away by that. So I can't prove it. But for me personally, I don't believe that I would be buying bulk items in jars, even if they can tear the jar. I told my husband, Mr. Vegan Prepper, and he said, yeah, it is possible if they're not tearing it correctly that I'm, paying for more. And I just think it ends up, it just ends up registering more weight. I know that shouldn't be possible with a teared jar, but that's just my experience. So I would rather shop with bags than with jars personally. And then there's also certain places, like for instance, Winco has no way of tearing anything. So if you show up at Winco and you try to buy with a jar, they won't be able to take the weight of the jar off of your purchase anyway. And then you can be getting into some really seriously expensive stuff there. Oh yeah, I would say too, it isn't just bulk. Winco has loose peanut butter, which obviously would not be an idea for me. Or package-free peanut butter and packaging-free like olive oils and things like that. You can go and fill up a container. It is plastic, but like I said, they can't tear a glass jar. And then you can reuse the plastic container. And I think you'd probably end up saving a lot of packaging versus buying containers of peanut butter or oils or whatever. So there's actually places that even have package-free liquid ingredients. If you can find them, go find them. It's a possibility. But when you're buying in bulk with your baggies, I don't write the numbers. So I always also include my phone as one of the kind of pieces of equipment for zero waste shopping, because when I go bulk shopping and I put in something and it's whatever rice and it's 1234 is the number, I can go ahead and take a photo of that. Like take a photo of the number and the description. And then what I kind of do is just sort of carefully place the bags with the items on the conveyor belt for the checkout. And I place them in order of the pictures on my phone. And then that way I'm able to just very quickly say, okay, that's rice, 1234. Okay, those are lentils, 3659. Okay, those are, and then they'll be able to do that. And then they really appreciate that. And it works out fine. And you don't have to use the little taggy and you don't have to use anything else. So then that's like the zero waste way to mark your bulk bags. And that's how I do it. And it works really well. And so basically really all you need is like reusable bags, reusable produce bags, and then potentially jars. But now I mainly am storing my stuff in the jars when I get back home, not using it to buy. I'm going to do an experiment. One time I'm going to go when they're not busy and I'll say, hey, just like for science, can we fill this up and then put the same amount in a bag and see if there's a price difference. And then I can get back to you guys. But I don't know when that's ever going to happen. They're always busy at my little herb shop. I love them. Okay, so to actually prepare for the day that you're going shopping, get your bags in the car. That's like the main thing. It's just make sure your bags are in the car. Make it like what you're checking for, your phone, your wallet, your purse, bags. Make sure you have your bags or else there's no zero waste shopping. And then the other thing, because like I have mentioned, shopping this way, at least at first, but then honestly forever, it's more effort to shop this way. Okay. But at first it's going to feel like monumental effort, but eventually it starts feeling a little better once you're used to it, but it is still more effort. But make sure you have some meals made already. For me, I like to just toss food into my Instant Pot and then leave and go to the store. By the time I come back, I have a nice hot meal ready to go. Or I just have like leftovers in the fridge, which I can heat up when I get home. Then I can feed all these people and then also shop and not have it be such a huge burden on me. And then that also keeps me from ordering out or, making waste that way, but then also wasting money. And then also, I would like to say, kind of alluded to a little bit before, always prep your vices. If you like to stop for coffee, then bring a coffee with you from home. If you want to stop for some tea, bring some tea with you from home, or have it made waiting for you at home so that you know it's there and you're less likely to want to stop and grab something. It's kind of fun, right? It's like a little dopamine hit. You stop and you get a fun thing, and I get that. And I'm not trying to say that we can't ever have fun ever again. I can't wait for them to reopen the possibility of using our own reusable cups at places like Starbucks. I was going to make a list, but I honestly can only think of Starbucks. Basically other like local places or whatever. I'm really excited for the days that we're able to use our own cups again. But for now, while we can't, I guess it's better to just sort of keep it in-house and avoid the waste and do that as much as we can. But then I guess that's all for now on like my general kind of primer on zero waste shopping, and hopefully that was helpful at all. If you have any more questions or want details or help on anything else, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm sorry that it wasn't like a cut and dry to do this. It's really more about puzzling through what your options are and what your unique situations are, and figuring it out for yourself. And then, that's when it works the best, I think. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. And if you liked it, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share it if you think that anybody else would like it. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.